Kansas City's just pulling those pocketbooks in. They could have had DeAndre Hopkins or even Adam Thielen, but they didn't want to sign to long-term deals, and they're regretting that decision now. Both those guys helped a lot.
If they had just put up money or whatever, they could have had someone I don't know, it's outside the box, but they could have probably even had Tyreek Hill. I feel like he probably would have been all right.
But then they're missing Creed Humphreys. They're missing some of those defenders that they got in that deal. So their team's worse on the other end of the spectrum, right? So it's just you win or you lose depending on that one.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the waiver wire here. We'll start with the QBs. I have mine, like I said, tiered as usual because the site is back up. So I have 4 options. Shallow leagues is 70 to 80% is my cutoff line. Medium is 50 to 70% owned. Deeper is 25 to 50, and dart throws less than 25. There's a lot of dart throws this week because it's the season of the backup injury quarterback. So that's where 90% of them are. Shallow options, we've got guys who are mostly owned everywhere. Howell is my favorite here at 79%, Kyler at 77%, Dobbs at 71%. If they're available in any of your leagues in any formats, they're worth rostering, even in single QB at this point. Medium options, we have both Stafford and Love in the 46-47% range here. I think they're both more likely injury replacements if you're in single QB, or they're your QB2 in Superflex. Deeper options, Will Levis or Baker Mayfield. That's incorrect. These are supposed to be 56 and 57. You'll have to excuse me. I was slightly tired and sick this week, and my numbers didn't make sense. But Will Levis and Baker Mayfield, obviously, I think I'd much rather have Baker at this point. And the dart throws are pretty much name your backup quarterback and pick who you'd like to play. They're all, with the exception of DTR, who's at 11%, they're all 5% or less. We got Flacco, who could be the starter in Cleveland, Browning, who could be the starter, Tommy DeVito, Aiden O'Connell, Tim Boyle. It's messy, and these are basically just, I lost my starter, and it's super flex, and I have to drop my fab here to get one. You'll also notice my article used to have a dollar value up here next to the highlighted player. It no longer does, because at this point in the season, go get what you need. If you just lost Joe Burrow, I don't give a shit what you need. If you need to stay alive, go drop your money on whatever quarterback if you think DTR is the one, or if Dobbs is available, go drop your remaining fab, because fab doesn't do you any good if you miss the playoffs. But what do you guys like out of this group?
That bottom row is so gross. I really don't even want it. I will say the one guy not listed on there is Derek Carr, because he's been dealing with injuries and he's below 50% in some leagues. So you could do him along with the Baker Mayfield tier, and you get a passable starting quarterback. That bottom tier, man, you're hanging on the edge. I don't want to go down there.
Yeah, you're better off plugging in Taysom Hill probably than most of those guys down there. I am intrigued by, obviously, the top list. If any of those 3 guys are available, just scoop them up immediately. I drop everything for sure. Jordan Love is intriguing too. I know he's up and down, but he's putting it together. And if those young receivers are on and they're getting open, he's been able to find them. It's just a matter of what's happening. Jordan Love on the Green Bay Packers. I was going to say, I thought that was if he's playing Denver. You're going to be concerned. So just look out for the matchups here, but certainly you want to make sure that, between any of those 5 guys at the top, or even Baker, I'm good. Levis, no thanks. And the rest, no thanks.
That's something interesting you brought up though, Jesse. And I've seen it actually on Twitter, but I don't know the actual, the numbers to see whether it's the data supports it or not. If we get to the dart throw territory, say you lost Joe Burrow, right? If your options are starting Flacco, Browning, DeVito seems to be a little bit better, but Flacco, Browning, DTR, O'Connell, Boyle. If you're super flexing them, or a wide receiver 3, low end tight end 1, tight end 2, what do you think you'd rather do? You're just playing a position player here? Would you rather play a flex position player than one of these backup super flex options?
I think I would. If I have a dependable guy that I could stream, he's a wide receiver 3, I'd rather take that route, just because you have no idea how good these quarterbacks. Boyle has some rushing, DTR has some rushing, but they're just terrible passers, right? We don't know anything about Browning. He's been a career backup. Flacco's just dust. DeVito's is somewhat rushing, but outside of that Washington game, that offense has been atrocious. So I think that's kind of an outlier scenario for him. So yeah, it's rough, man. If you have guys you can play and stream over them, absolutely. Like I'll happily take the wide receiver 3 giving me 10 to 12 points. No problem with that.
For me, like I'll trust the weapons for the quarterbacks, and that means Browning, weapons and scheme. So I'd prefer him over any of these guys. And even Aiden O'Connell, he's just so young. He's got 2 nice receivers. He's got a decent young tight end. He's got a good back. So those 2 I'd prefer, Browning first, then O'Connell over everyone else. But again, if I can avoid them, I will.
I'm going to make a live change in this little article I've got going, so you'll have to bear with me. But it would be to add someone that I forgot. I think he is in the under 10% range here because I was assuming he wasn't going to be the starter, but the Falcons have said they're going back to Desmond Ridder. What do you guys think about? I assume you're playing Ridder over pretty much everyone in that bottom tier, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I would. He's been a better fantasy asset. Not a good quarterback, but a better fantasy asset. At least he can give you.
He's closer to low.
Right? Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I'd rather fire him up for sure, or even like Bryce Young. A lot of people are pretty out on Bryce Young, but I'm taking a good quality starting quarterback over the bottom tier, so him as well too.
Yeah.